The Breakaway Liv Golf Series continues to defy its detractors. 6 new players, including world number 2 Cameron Smith, have joined the Liv Golf Series. That list also includes India's Anirban Lahiri. Anirban joins me now from Boston. Anirban, thanks for your time. I sort of guessed when I got your message last week that something was in the works. But when did you finally decide that it's time to move on from the PGA Tour?
I think that's a incorrect way of putting it, Diggy. I don't think it's so much moving on from a tour. It was about exploring, another option. It was also exploring an alternative way to view professional golf. To answer your question, I think it was after the first event happened in London. Once that first event took off, I saw what was happening. Some of my friends were playing. I spoke to them, and they said, "Look, it's great. It's this. I know it's got a lot of heat. It's come under a lot of scrutiny, but it's not what everybody's saying it is." So that's when I really started thinking about it. Started considering it, and then it evolved from there.
Okay. Just going to press you on that, Anirban. What is it about Liv Golf? Apart from your friends, you would have obviously had discussions. What is it that you think makes it worthwhile for you to join?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think everybody's who's kind of gone over or come across has done it for their own personal reasons. For me, I've been here in the US fully committed to the PGA Tour, fully committed to chasing my dream. It's been 7 years. In those 7 years, a lot of things have happened. In those 7 years, I've had lots of ups and downs in forms. I've felt like the quality of my game has plateaued. I've tried to fix that in different ways. Some of the issues have been, spending more time with my coach, being able to regularly keep my game in ship shape. Some of it has been, when you come back from a pressure-packed tournament schedule and you come home, I found it difficult to blow off steam. I've found it difficult to find an environment, a social environment where I feel like home. We've tried our best to make it home, but it hasn't felt like it. I've become a father twice, and I've felt, it's difficult. Anyone who's a parent knows it's difficult, but it's especially more difficult and frustrating when you don't have family and you don't have friends, you don't have the environment or the support system that you would like to have, not just personally, but also for your kids. So, it was a multitude of reasons. I've been through cycles of asking myself why I'm doing this. Why am I chasing all these things I'm chasing? I want to win on the PGA Tour. I want to do well in the majors. Of course, that's what it's all about. But it also comes at a cost. And I think the personal cost that it has come at was not felt by me initially. But 6-7 years down the road, I start questioning myself that, okay, man, how long can I keep doing this? Because to me and my wife, it was always about coming back home, which was always going to be, India or closer to home at least, and being able to, live a life where I can play my best golf, compete at the highest level, and create a good foundation for my family, give back to the game, give back to golf, contribute to, the sport that's given me everything. And when I look at all those things, those long-term aspirations, and when Liv came along, I said, wow, here's an opportunity for me to actually make that all a reality, because the practicality of me, say, living in India or closer to India and playing the PGA Tour, it's not practical. I mean, that's the reason why I moved in the first place. I did it in 2015, almost broke. My body did break down in November. But with this schedule, I can still play 8, 9 times, 10 times, however many times that they're going to play in the US. I think the scheduling will be done where they maximize the travel. I'll be playing in Asia. I'll be playing closer to home. I'll be playing a little bit on the Asian tour. I'll get to play with the 15, 20, 25 young Indian professionals that are coming through. I'll be able to contribute back there. I'll be able to see my coach. I'll be able to give my children the environment that I would like them to have. I'd have my family, my friends. I mean, the positives were outweighing my individual pursuit for my own goals. I'm just starting my 16th year as a professional, and any professional athlete will tell you it's all about us. It's all about our ambitions and our goals. And I have the opportunity now to pursue a lot of my other ambitions, while not sacrificing or giving up on my golf. So, when I've weighed all of those things, and I obviously spoke to my wife and my parents and my coach and my core team, and they said, look, this is going to make you happy. This is going to be able to give you the things you need for what you want going forward in your life. So why not do it? And that's basically where I came from. It's a lot. It's a lot of different factors.
It's a lot. And I just love the way you sort of explain the entire process, because whenever a player says, especially when joining Liv Golf, that I want to spend more time with family, we perhaps forget that a lot of times it's living out of a suitcase. And especially for you, it's in a different country, it's more difficult. That's even what Cameron Smith said on joining Liv on Tuesday. But the other criticism which keeps coming is, oh, these players are leaving for money. For you, I don't think that matters, because you earned more than $3 million in the last season. So clearly money isn't everything.
See, the fact of the matter is, if you were to break it down, can I make a really good living playing on the PGA Tour? Yes. Is it a reality? Yes. Just look at the last 7 years that I've spent here. I've already done it, and that was another thing that I wanted to ask myself, have I proved to myself that I can compete at this level? Yes. Have I fallen short of my ambitions? Yes. I wanted to win on tour. I wanted to play more majors. I wanted to be, contend, and I haven't done that. But, am I really, do I really feel like I didn't give it everything? And do I really feel that I'm running away? No, I'm not doing any of those things. I'm actually running, not even running, I'm moving towards the direction that I want to go. And like you mentioned about Cam, he's an Aussie kid. He wants to go spend 3-4 months in Australia every year. A lot of these guys are scheduling that. I was talking to Mark Leishman. He's doing the same thing. For me, it's not just about playing, I only want to play 15 times in a year. No, that's not me. I'm not saying I want to play only 15, 16 times in a year. I still want to play 20 plus tournaments. But I'm going to also choose those tournaments. I'm going to play maybe the Indian Open. I'm going to probably play a few tournaments in Asia. I might, I'm still going to try and qualify for the British, the Open Championship. I'm still going to qualify for any major that I can. So I'm not going to give up on all the things that motivate me, but I'm also going to move towards the things that I want to move towards. So, that money factor, let's be honest, I'm not going to get a, 9-figure deal like the top guys. So for me, it was more about having the opportunity to, but let's again not be casual about the fact that we are playing for a lot of money. So that definitely is a motivating factor. There's no denying it. But for me, the factor that I'm going to have a life, and a life that I would like to lead, or a life that I would like to project going forward, not just for myself, but for everybody around me, that outweighs more than anything else that, I could get.
Okay, I don't want this to sound like an inquisition. I'm just
no, it's not. No. But the thing is, whether you wanted to sound it like that or not, that's the question everybody asks. Yeah. So it's also very important for me to put it out there, because everybody says, oh, he's going to say this, but ultimately he must have. I mean, it is just what it is. So I also like to, be very black and white and transparent about it.
Yeah, the way you were speaking reminded me of Serena Williams's piece in the Vogue when she says, I want to evolve away from tennis. So you're evolving away from the PGA Tour for a new start. But, you would have obviously weighed up the options, the announcements which happened last week, that there are going to be new elevated tournaments. There's going to be more money at stake on the PGA Tour. There's guaranteed $500,000 for players in right up to the Korn Ferry level. And also with your FedEx Cup ranking of just outside the top 70, you would have got an opportunity to play all those events as more of a guaranteed start than you had in previous years.
Yeah, I think the changes that are being brought about are fantastic. I think that, this starting right now, 2022 is probably the best time in the history of golf to be a professional golfer. The opportunities going forward from this year onwards are going to be immense. To a large extent, I would also say that, if not because of Liv Golf, it's definitely been a catalyst. No matter what somebody says it was in the works, or it wasn't, this is probably 4 or 5 years away, even on the PGA Tour, but it's happening overnight. And it's coming because of the influx. So to answer your question, yes, there are opportunities. Like I said, I mean, if I was, and I'll be honest, if I was really happy with my life, if I wanted to live in the US, if I wanted to settle down here and not come back, I could. I mean, the US government would run to give me a green card because that's what they do with all the athletes who come across. But that's not my dream. I'm not doing this for those reasons. I came to America because it was the best decision for my golf. It was the best decision for my career, for my job. If you were to look at somebody else doing another job, it's like, oh, I've got a project. My project was just 7 years. So, it's different. So my motivations are
And you've now joined a startup.
Well, yeah, sort of a startup which has a lot of bang to it. But the whole idea is that if I was really happy with how my life is, living here and doing the things I'm doing, I would not have left. Because like you said very rightly, the financial opportunities are there on the PGA Tour as well. And I'm playing well enough and I've proven myself enough to be able to partake of those opportunities. So yeah, like I said, going back to our first part of our conversation, those are my motivating factors. If it was just opportunities, I have plenty.
Okay. But what do you make of this, what's being seen as sort of a power grab on the tour? Because with Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy sort of leading the sort of pushback against Liv Golf, there's a lot of people who say that it's only going to make those people who already have much more richer with all these elevated tournaments, and that people like you, who were the ones who were actually scrapping out there on the course to sort of be financially independent, it was actually not going to work for you. That while the tour's response was all the stars come together, it was obviously the likes of Anirban and others who were below that top 60, top 70 level who were really going to get affected. Do you see that going forward leading to more disgruntlement?
Again, I don't want to speculate, but the fact is that if you look at professional golf, it's one of the few sports where, say the 100th guy on the PGA Tour makes $1 million. And I'm talking only about prize money. But if you look at the top 20 or 25 players in the world or on the PGA Tour, they may make $5 or $6 million. In a great year, they may make more than that. But their endorsement values are about 6, 7, 8. Some of them are 10x. Right. But the guys between, say, 90 and 125 who are making $1 million, their endorsement contracts are probably worth half X or 1x at most. So yeah, there is a huge disparity already. And that disparity may increase with the elevated events, but it's also going to make people aspire to break in. So it works, like I said, it's very easy for me to only look at the glass as half empty, but there's also a lot of half full to it. Yes, the absolute top, the creme de la creme, the top 5, the top 10 are definitely going to make exponentially more money going forward, not just from the elevated events, also from the other venture that, Tiger and Rory are trying to, spearhead and kind of birth. And, in my opinion, it's all good. I don't care. As long as more golfers are created, as long as golf wins, as long as people say, man, there's great opportunity in this sport. I want my kids to play this game. I don't care, because the sport is growing. There's going to be influx. There's going to be on TV. And it's what it is. Like, so many people I've told is like, man, why it's shotgun start is 3 days. Why are you doing that? I'm like, yeah, when IPL, well, forget IPL, when T20 cricket started 15, 18 years ago, I know Sachin didn't go for the World Cup. He could have. He says, no, I'm not going to go. So we've got Sachin, we've got Tiger saying, I'm not going. This is not golf. I believe in this, which is fine. But who's to say that this doesn't become the IPL of tomorrow? Who's to say that this doesn't become the preferred consumable format for golf? We don't know. So, there's as long as there's 4 different formats and people are consuming golf, I don't care. Everything's good.
But just on that, whenever there's something new, and it's good you brought up the T20 World Cup 2007, whenever there's something new, Anirban, there's always bound to be a pushback from the established order. 100%. Do you now believe, seeing the way it's been received, seeing the buzz that's made around the world, I don't think any sport has made that much of a buzz in the last 6-7 months than Liv Golf has across the world. Do you think that going forward in maybe 4 or 5 years, the initial lot who've moved earlier this year or now right up to the end of this first season, they're going to be in the future remembered as pioneers who sort of took a brave step to make golf perhaps more appealing to a much more newer audience, a newer fan base.
100%. Absolutely. You know, when I was talking about the opportunity or this potential move with my team, you know, that's one of the things I said, like, I have the opportunity to be a part of history. We don't know how it's going to go down. You know, everybody's trying to paint it in a negative brush in the West. You know, they have their threads and their vested interests that they're pressing really hard. A lot of it, I feel, is propaganda. Let's not go there. But the fact of the matter is, it's been received really, really well globally. I think the moment you look at the rest of the world, everybody's excited. Australia is excited. South Africa is thrilled that they have their own team. Everybody's watching it because they're cheering their, you know, 3-4 South Africans on. They want, you know, the Stingers, which is a South African team, to win. So you're also creating a fan base that's going beyond, I follow this player or I follow that player. You know, you're creating a lot of things, and just like you said, it could be historic. We don't know which way it's going to go. But I also think that, you know, it puts, by me being here, and I'm the only Asian player so far to actually be contracted with Liv. Hopefully there are more to follow. It's also recognizing the fact that Asia as a market, Asia as a golf destination, as a golf consumer, and a potential, you know, stronghold of golf going into the future, needs to be recognized, needs to be represented. And, you know, I look at it with pride that way as well. So to me, there was so many pros vis-a-vis the cons. It was really quite a simple decision.
Yes, and you know, what's going to happen also is that with, like we've seen with the Saudi international, all the top players coming, there's going to be more attention on the Asian Tour, which was sort of sidelined. Let's be honest. You know, the Asian Tour was one of the also rans. Oh, it's there. It's not that important. But you sort of came up through that tour. Just talking about Phil Mickelson, who's going to be, who is now your fellow Liv Golf member. Phil Mickelson always used to say that, you know, there is much more that the tour can do. And he had this fight going on with the tour for a while, you know, about what the players need to. And a lot of players said that they didn't feel that they were part of the decision-making process. Do you now feel with Liv coming and seeing all these changes, that in a sense, all that is vindicated as well? That for a long time, all this new money which is coming in, the purse strings have been opened by the PGA Tour, that this all could have been settled amicably much ahead.
It's, again, like I'm saying, you know, I feel like all of this could definitely have been handled better. I think, you know, the world of golf.
Become an ego issue? It's become an ego issue, you feel?
The world of golf is definitely a big enough place for multiple parties to coexist. I don't think Liv Golf entered the market to threaten and to destroy and all these, you know, connotations that are attached with it. Like I said, a lot of it is propaganda. Mm. You know, it's like, oh, you know, T20 cricket is going to destroy Test cricket. It's not. It's not. Test cricket is always going to be Test cricket. You know, that is going to be the, you know, the pinnacle of golf. The majors will always be the pinnacle of golf. 4 days, 72 hole stroke play is going to be, you know, that's at a different level, and it always will be. But I think I would say the organizations were complacent. I think the organizations were also, to some extent, they didn't believe this to be a real, I say threat, but a real, to be reality. Let's put it that way. They say, oh, these are just concepts. These are just things. And we're not going to pay attention. Who are you to tell us, you know, what to do with golf or how to do it? So yes, to some extent, when you have, you know, incumbent power that has run the show forever and ever, one way or the other, it's hard to see a different perspective. So could it have happened differently? Yes. I mean, when just talking about Asia and other golf markets, the thing is, golf as a sport and as a industry is so mature in the US. It is so mature in the UK and other parts of Europe that, you know, these markets constitute 70-80% of the revenue generation of the industry. So what happens is these organizations focus on that 80%. But the fact is, the potential to grow the global, the worldwide, the non-Americas, the UK and selective European nation viewership, or the potential hasn't been explored. It hasn't been invested into. And forget about, the Asian tour being relevant. I have seen my friends, I have seen my compatriots out of a job for 18 months when COVID hit. Did nobody bail them out? None of these organizations that are pointing fingers at the Asian tour for taking, according to them, questionable funds. Well, what did you do? There were 200 members without a job for 18 months. Where was the olive branch from your coffers for them? Yes, you got to take care of your own first, but where's the effort to sustain, revive, or do something for that region? It just wasn't there. So when I see what this influx has done for golf in Asia, for the Asian tour, for a lot of my friends who have the opportunity to play for a living, let's just start there, is incredible. And that's what's going to grow golf in all of the region. Everybody says, oh, what do you mean growing the game? This is not growing the game. I'm like, the game can be grown outside Americas. The game can be grown outside UK. The game can be grown in areas where it hasn't grown, where growing the game means different things than it means here. People don't understand that because they don't have the perspective. They've never been to Asia. They haven't seen what it is. How do you expect them to have that perspective? It's beyond their capability to think of it. So as someone who's, like you said, come through the PGTI, come through the Asian tour, played Europe, played everywhere in the world, I get it. I see the impact it can make, and it already is making. So I look at it very differently from how people choose to look at it from the limited information and the limited awareness they have. So it's disappointing, it's sad. But the truth is, only time will tell. Give it 5 years, give it 10 years, and it's possible that the Asian tour could be the second strongest tour in the world after the PGA Tour, in terms of a proper, 4-day, 72-hole tour. So, if and when hopefully that comes to pass, then people are going to say, okay, yeah, you know what, we were wrong. But nobody's going to say that now. Yeah. Everybody's hitched their horse to the wagon that, it's like a mob mentality. Let's just go with this. It's just sad to see.
Yeah, it's sort of easy to whip the dog, as they say, or the horse. But Anirban, just in conclusion, you've been on the PGA Tour for a while. How would you like to be sort of remembered as a pioneer in Indian golf? Would you like to be remembered, this journey of yours, as perhaps you showed Indian golfers and Asian golfers that you can get there. It's not a bridge too far, and B, that you can be on that tour and compete?
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to attach tags and names. That would be wrong of me. I'm just like any other guy. You trace my history, you see where I come from, where I started. I could be, the kid next door. I was that guy, and that's where I started. That's where everyone starts. All I try and pass on to the young professionals, young juniors, amateurs, or even people who haven't developed in the game, I say that just if you love the game and you have, I was lucky to have good guidance. You have good guidance, you have a good coach, you have good mentors, you work hard, you work smart, and you keep at it. Anything is possible. None of what you mentioned, none of this was something I aspired for as an 8-10-year-old. I just wanted to play golf. I love golf. I just want to play golf. I want to go play the next, IGU junior tournament. That was my life. Like how, kids go to school and say, this monthly test is going to be the death of me. That's the biggest problem in life. So for me, it was like, somehow I need to play well in the East India juniors. So that was my world. It was never about, I'm going to play in Augusta, and then I'm going to play the President's Cup. Then I'm going to play the Olympics that didn't exist. Then I'm going to play the World Cups. I mean, there's almost nothing that I haven't experienced. Again, I've fallen short on my own standards and my own targets and my own ambitions in a lot of those areas, but not for the lack of trying, not for the lack of, giving it everything I've got. So I have zero regrets. But the fact is, like you said, it's possible. It's definitely doable. And I think more than anything else at this stage in my career, I've been a professional golfer for 15 years. I turned pro in 2007, September. I'm also reaching a stage in my life where I still have a lot of gas left in my tank. I can play golf competitively for as long as I'm fit, another 5-10 years even. But at this point of time, I'm also choosing what I want to do with my life. I want golf to be a part of my life, and not golf, be bigger than my life, which it has been. So I think that's also a perspective that I want to pass on to people, that it's just, you have to give it everything, and then at every stage you have to take a step back, reassess, and say, okay, where do I go from here? So whether it is to go from the PGTI to the Asian Tour or the DP World Tour, or whichever tour, or go and try and qualify for the Corn Ferry Tour, and I'm going to slug it out because I want to play on the PGA Tour. I want to see if I can do it. I want to prove it to myself, and then move from there. And now, Liv is around. It's an opportunity. Yes, it's an impossibly hard place to break into, but I'm sure going down the road in the future, those things are also going to change. So, that there's no limit. Everything is possible, but and that has to be believed. And for someone to believe it, somebody has to do it. And I can definitely take some credit in being one of the few people who was able to do it. And that's all I can hope to pass on. I mean, I'm just doing my job. That's it.
Yes, it's going to be a new start. Hopefully, Anirban, you have Henrik Stenson's luck.
We're all hoping. All the 6 guys who just joined said, hey, this must be a beginner's luck thing, man. I hope I get the long draw. But like I said, it's a new beginning. And it doesn't diminish my hunger to be the best golfer that I can be. And it's the opposite. I'm actually going to create an environment where I can be the best golfer I can be. So it's very contradictory to what people think from the outside looking in. And hopefully my golf passes that message on. My coach always told me that let your golf clubs do the talking, and I'm going to try and do that.
Yes, and over the course of the last 20-30 minutes, you sort of explained that position beautifully. So I know it's pretty late over there. So thank you so much, Anirban.
Thank you.
Hopefully you find your space, which you've been craving for after all these years, slugging it out, as you said. Mm-hmm. And hopefully this turns out to be a decision that you're going to be proud of in the coming years. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much, Digvijay. I hope so too. Thanks for your time.